In the last year, I sent over 1 million emails on behalf of myself and my clients using AI. And the results that I saw were absolutely insane. I mean, things like hundreds of interested replies, tens of meetings booked for a single campaign, and even 7 figures generated from one single sequence. And that's just on average. I'm not taking even in consideration the most successful campaign I did in my life. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what I did to do this, the actual technique I used to get such an incredible results, and all the learning from sending such a high volume. Also that you can just copy what's working and leverage it for yourself. So the first thing that I learned in sending so many emails is that if you want to actually support such a high volume, you need a very good process to actually set up new addresses and new domains. And exactly for the email infrastructure, there's a huge news in the cold email space, since now you can actually create new addresses and domains directly from SmartLead. As you can see, when you jump into the SmartLead dashboard, you go to email accounts, add accounts, you see that's new, connect your email account, or create your primary inbox optimized infra. As you can see, you have 3 different kind of providers: Google, Outlook, SMTP. And what I usually suggest, guys, is just diversify your addresses so that 30% are Google, 30% are Outlook, 30% are like private servers, SMTP, because actually the cold email space changes so fast that you really don't know what will perform in the next month. So set them up like in a diversified way. And as you can see, for Google mailboxes, set up 3 to 5 emails per domain, warm up domains with a maximum of 25 emails and 75% reply rate for 2 weeks, which is different if you do this through Outlook. Do not warm them up, which is different if you do this with private servers. So basically what I want to say here is that now you have a very fast way to create domains and addresses. Do not reinvent the wheel. Just follow the best practices, just follow SmartLead, which has probably the best B2B email data on the planet. And in this way, you can be actually pretty sure that you can actually land in the right inbox. Now, the next logical step after you actually set up your own email infrastructure is to use our theme process and actually starting building our lead list. I have a very good way to do this, and I personally do not recommend what 90% of the so-called experts actually recommend. Things like starting from ListKit, Apollo, or outsourcing list from other vendors. Not because these software are actually bad, but actually it's pretty impossible to generate very good list and get a lot of information of these prospects just using the 3 software, the 3 ways I mentioned before. And most people actually do this list building part wrong, which accounts for really 60% of outbound success. And the best way to actually think about this is how I can scale this without getting crazy and create a very accurate theme list. For example, let's say that you're using Apollo, right? And you want to find a list of B2B marketing agency or marketing agencies selling Facebook ads. What you usually do in Apollo is, okay, I just put the keyword marketing agency, I got all of them. But if you put the time to actually double check what the list is, you will figure out the list is so broken. You will have branding agencies, you will have like agencies not selling ads, you will have insurance agencies. And the only way to have like very good lists at scale is to leverage softwares like Clay to actually have an incredible data operation and scale your list building. And this is exactly how the process works. We first map the theme, refine the theme, get the people, get content information, copy strategy. Okay, mapping the theme is like the hardest part, and basically you map the theme order from I find companies in Clay, which is find company, you have the enrichment, or you start from a niche provider. And always think about like, where is my ICP listed on the internet? For example, let's say we want to outreach marketing agencies. Where are marketing agencies? On LinkedIn, right? And in this case, I would start from Clay find company because it scrapes directly from LinkedIn. But let's say that my ICPs are restaurants. Restaurants are not on LinkedIn, right? They are on Google Maps, they are local businesses. So I had to start from Google Maps and find the right Clay enrichment to scrape Google Maps. And let's say that they are e-commerces. I can't start on LinkedIn. Many e-commerces, especially the smaller one, are not on LinkedIn. They are B2C brands. They have zero incentive to be listed on LinkedIn. But for sure they are on store lists, which is the the best provider of e-commerce list in the world because it scrapes the web only for e-commerce technologies like WooCommerce, Magento, Shopify, blah, blah, blah. And next is refine the theme. We can use GPT, Clayagent, or Scraper to actually understand what we scraped is actually accurate, and all the following. For example, let's say now that we are selling fractional CFO services to agencies, and in particular to B2B marketing agencies. How can we do this? Map the theme. We can start from find companies in Clay because all of them are on LinkedIn. Let's go on Clay, create new table, find companies. I would stay broad at the beginning, so I would say something like B2B marketing or B2B lead generation or B2B growth. Number of employees, okay. Location for sure, United States. Amazing. Preview companies, cool. Import to new table, continue for free. Now we will have like a huge list because in B2B marketing you can have like tools, you can have services, you can have agencies. So we started very broad, mapping like a huge theme, but in this way we can move to step 2, which is refine the theme. And we will ask to Clayagent, which is the AI agent built into Clay that can serve the web, say something like, hey, based on domain, LinkedIn profile and description, is this really a B2B marketing agency, not a tool, not a software, not a platform or something else? How can we do this? Easy. We have, first of all the data here. Add enrichment. We can look for agent, for description, domain. Try to understand if this is B2B marketing agency, not a tool, not software or other things. I am only interested in agents. Just reply yes or no. And we can even define the output better because most of the times like the AI responses are not like 100% perfect. So we can select option, yes and no. So we are basically forcing GPT, Clayagent to only reply yes or no. So it would be easy to categorize. Save, run the rows. Now we have, as you can see, some of them are no, some of them are yes. For example, if we click on a no, the provided text describe a young marketing makeover as shown not a marketing agency, but of course it's like tool, it's a website. So it makes a lot of sense. Now it's enough to actually filter only for check response equal to yes, and we will get like all the yes, and we can scale this enrichment through all the 8,000 different rows in a very, very fast way. And in this way, you see, starting broad, we can refine the theme, and next we can get all the people. Okay, now that we basically have the companies, what we can do is the enrichment, find contacts, show results in this table, job title keyword, we can put the keyword of the ones that we want to outreach. That should be like CEO, founder. So let's pretend we are selling like a CFO service. So of course, only the founder, main decision maker actually is interested in this. So CEO, founder, managing director, managing partner, owner, president, co-founder. We can even put, if we don't use the filter, we can put the filter here, like only run if B2B agency check is equal to yes. Generate formula, output is correct, save, run the rows. Okay, cool. Now we can get all the data of all the people, like name, title, country, last name. Even better than last name, we need like the first name so that in the cold email we can say hello name, and we start having all the results. And now what we can even do is actually getting more information and context about these companies and these people using Clay. And this is exactly where the AI part actually comes into, because let's say that we want more information about these guys, what we can do. And you see on Clay, we basically have like 500 different enrichments, and we can get really any kind of information. For example, let's say that we want to know how much website traffic they are getting, so that we can create a personalized cold email or outbound message mentioning the website traffic. We can have that. Or let's say that we want to see if they raise the funds. We can use Crunchbase integration. With Crunchbase, we can get all the investor, or if the company where other investors are actually invested in. Or let's say that I want to understand if they were mentioning in the news lately. This of course works better like if you are working with large companies, but you can get that. So with Clay you can really get and scrape any information from the web and use that information to your advantage. Of course, you have to start with strategy, you have to start with a business outcome and use technology later. Otherwise you will get like very, very messy because you have too many things to do and you don't know what to execute on. So once you are done with this data enrichment process, we'll have so much data, so many variables that we can later use to create super personalized cold email outreach at scale. So after grabbing all the data, we can now finally write our copy for our cold emails. Having sent so many emails, I can safely say that not only I found what is working inside like over 27 different niches and having generating like thousands of meetings, but I can even say that I basically systemized what is working, and I'm only using a couple of cold email templates that I use again and again in so many different niches that are proven to work every single time. So believe it or not, but I productize my process so well that now I'm just copy and pasting the same templates, just changing the offer and the unique mechanism, and you can actually generate thousands of qualified leads in the next months, in the next years. Let's jump into the template. What really is powerful here is that these templates force you to only change the part in bold, because I figure out that in terms of outbound, 50-60% of the result is given by how good you make the list, and the rest is your value proposition. So I highly recommend you only to test value proposition on offer, because it's the only thing that can really change the result of your campaign, or at least change it enough to be worth testing in a new A/B test. So as you can see, the template works in this way: hi first name, personalized first line, and usually in this personalized first line you should do something like observe something that is missing, a problem, or something very particular inside the company or at prospect level, to actually show him in a moment that you made your own research and there's a very particular reason why you actually reached out. If I could generate text results with a unique system, social proof would be interesting in speaking. And I really recommend to use the same parts, apart from the one in bold, and write 3 to 5 different value propositions. And in particular, let's go to the fractional CFO example. So basically, fractional CFO is kind of interesting for an agency when actually scaling and you have to maximize profit, but you can't actually afford a full-time CFO. So I wrote down like some value proposition, and I even have like some bonus templates to show you in a moment. As you can see, subject line, I first name, personalized first line, anything is kind of the same. I just really changed the offer and the value proposition. Hi name, I notice you're running an 7 people B2B marketing agency, but I can't find a CFO in the team. I can even use Clay here to actually understand with again find contacts if there are CFO inside the company. I can do this, job keyword, CFO, LinkedIn URL, save, continue, save, and only send emails to people that work in a company where a CFO is missing. So in this case, only in one there's a CFO, in all the other is fine. So we can really show that, okay, I was on your LinkedIn, but there was no CFO, so you're missing out something there, you know? If I could increase profit margin by 15% with the same revenue, thanks to our optimized pricing model, like we did for B2B agencies like X and Y, would be interested in speaking. So we have our offer, our unique mechanism, our social proof with other B2B marketing agency, and this is exactly how you create a cold email that works. Next, exactly the same, but I changed, of course, the value proposition. If I could show you how to scale to the next level of revenue without suffering cash flow or people shortage. You see, this is profits. Hire a CFO because you can get higher profits. This is so you can scale in a more efficient way, because most of the times what happens is that we are trying to scale, or you have too many clients and you can't manage them, or you have too many people in your team and not enough clients. And this creates shortage of revenue and cash flow, and can be really painful, because if you are too many people and there are not enough revenues, you're not breaking even. You're going like in negative and you have to pay with your own bank account, and this is very painful. Third, I notice you're running blah blah blah. If I could save you 10 hours per week of financial tasks while improving net margin and reduce all the wastes an agency suffer from. Again, another value proposition more oriented on time saving. So profit, scaling efficiency, time saving. As you can see, what we are promising is really different. It's not making another personalized first line. It's really offering something of value that is completely different, and according to the level of awareness of the market can totally change the results and the response rate. I promise you one bonus template, which is the competitor one. If you're just going from industry to industry, it's just enough that you find 3 successful B2B marketing agencies with a CFO, so you can reference something like, hey, you are not successful because you're lacking a CFO. Notice what the competitor with that are doing. This is why they are making so much money, because they have a CFO. So you can say something like, hey name, I know you're running a 27 people B2B marketing agency, but I can't find a CFO in the team. Have you noticed that the majority of agencies who scale over 7-8 figures mark have a CFO, even a fractional one? Just check CFO name in X company or CFO name in Y company. Financial optimization is the only way to keep profit higher while scaling. So you benchmark what is a successful company, and the reason why is your service. So you build your own reality and you force people to think that they are missing out something because their successful competitor are doing something that they are not doing. Bonus 2 is the Loom, and subject line could be something like struggling keeping profits high. Again, hi first name, I know you're running blah blah blah. Can I send you a Loom video with 5 financial quick wins to get back 50% more profits from the same revenue you are generating? You see, this again, value proposition is the same, which is more profits, but here is a lead magnet, right? It's like saying, hey, I have this kind of document, 5 quick wins, just reply, we send it to you, which is a different way than just reply to a direct to meeting cold demand message. And you can totally skyrocket your results, and then you can nurture your leads long term. But speaking about Clay, data and everything, I actually have private work where I talk about all the things that for sure I can't talk about on YouTube, and it's exactly the 80-20 that is proven to work in the real world that I tested with my own client, and I keep up to date month over month, week over week on what's trending, new strategies, and what's really working to actually hack your Clay relearning journey and generate way better results for your clients in 1/5 of the time. The link is in the description, go and check it out. So after getting our list of leads, the next step is actually sending all the variables inside our sending tool like Smart Lead and start sending our cold emails. And this step is super important. You have to pay attention to details because there must be a perfect matching between the data we have reached on Clay and the data we are gonna send from Smart Lead. Okay, and the first thing would be go on Smart Lead, create campaign, call it, in this case we can call it test, sequence, bring your own copy. And now we have to make sure that we have all these variables into Clay. If we don't, we have to add other enrichments. First name. Do we have the first name? Yes. Okay, next. Number of employees in a company. Do we have this? We don't. We have a range, but it's not enough because I really want to be accurate, saying, hey, you're running a 7-people marketing agency. How can we find this kind of data? We can use Lead Magic again, but with another enrichment, which is Enrich Company, which is basically a scraper that goes into LinkedIn and extract all the relevant information. We put as an input the LinkedIn page URL, continue, save, run 10 rows. And as you can see, it really extracts all the variables. And one of these variables actually is employee count, which is perfect. Next, we need to know that there's not a CFO included in the company because in our personalized first line, we are saying something like, I notice you are running a 7-people B2B marketing agency, but I can't find a CFO in the team. So we only have to send emails to companies that do not have a CFO. We already did that before. So this kind of find contacts. In this case, you see, we are using the find contacts not to find the right people to outreach, but to make a better list. So in this case, for example, there's a CFO and we have to disqualify row 24. But all of the others are actually fine. After this, these are the only dynamic variable that we really need. We can go into Smart Lead. We write a first draft of the copy. I suggest to put the signature like this. Signature, when you create it in the email accounts, just put name and surname so you can personalize it campaign to campaign. And it will be something like job title at company, tagline, address. So something like Michael Sarugia, fractional CFO at company, because we are selling CFO services, of course. The tagline will be something like, we help agencies increase profit margins and scale efficiently. Address the address of the company because you actually showing that you are a real company. Now let's go back into Clay, add enrichment, Smart Lead, add lead to campaign, select the right account. You can connect the API very easily. In campaign ID, just select the campaign that we just created, test, amazing. And then we have to pay attention and send all the variables that we really need. We have the email, first name, we have the first name, last name, we actually don't really need this, phone number, we don't really need this, custom fields, yes, which is employees. And we put as a variable the number of the employee count. Now save, run 10 rows, and we are sending all the data from Clay to Smart Lead variable per variable. If you want to run all the leads, just enough to click run column here and send all of them. So really, when we've done the matching once, test with 10 and then run all of them like 5,000 different rows. So you get all of them really quickly. Go back to Smart Lead, and as you can see, magically, you will have the variables. Hi, first name. I know you're running employees, people in the marketing agency. And most importantly, now you can of course double check that these variables are really present, because otherwise Smart Lead couldn't read if the variable wasn't present. So it's a way to actually double check everything is working. And in our very specific case, what I would do is only onboard leads where CFO is empty. So let's call this CFO. And when we go to Smart Lead, edit column, use AI, all run if CFO is empty. Generate formula. All of them would be yes, apart from the one that are no, like the CFO. Output is correct. Save, run 10 rows, or run all the 7,000 different rows. And this is exactly how you make the matching, and you move all the data from Clay to Smart Lead. As you can see, these are green, and it means that we have sent some leads and we are ready to scale our campaigns using all the data from our previous enrichments. So guys, I just wanted to show you some data, and this is exactly what you can realistically get if you follow my process and use clay.com. This is not even my account, it's account from a student. I have like hundreds of students, but this guy is working basically on the event industry. As you can see, from like mid-October to like end of November, so a couple of months, even less than this, you can see the total number of interested replies is almost 100, which is pretty amazing. I think it's just one calendar month getting such a huge number of replies. And by the way, all these replies are only for one client. And as you can see, if you measure the data, the results are pretty amazing and are way above like the normal standard. And of course, this is only possible if you use data software like Clay, so you can make extremely good lists at scale. Use my process to only test what matters, and you really know what you're doing, what data to track, and how to scale the right offer, the right value proposition over a large TAM. Now, in this video, I showed you how to use Clay and know the insights from sending over 1 million emails. But in reality, it's a complex tool with so many use cases, and there's so much to talk about. So in the next video, I will show you exactly how to learn Clay fast and scale all the campaigns without using any credits. I'll see you over there.